Well, Robert's having a little bit of technical difficulties this morning. I'm his business partner, James Murno. We both started the 7S network. Robert's going to sign out and sign back in, and hopefully he can catch back up with us. But essentially, why we wanted to gather everyone today is we did want to officially announce that we are now officially live. We sent out service agreements earlier this month. If you did get one, we have an updated version that will be coming out later today. We just had some attorney delays, and we needed to get something out, but we have some updated with some new language that will be sent out if you're interested. We wanted to talk about a couple things today. Number one, about who we are, what the 7S network is, how it can impact your business, how you can use it to attract, and just kind of open the floor for questions, if you will, about what the 7S network is and what that means for commercial real estate through EXP going forward. While Robert's signing back in, who here is practicing commercial real estate on a full-time basis? And text may be a better way of chiming in so we're not talking over each other. Perfect. So the 7S network was actually created with full-time commercial agents in mind. If you've been with EXP for any sort of time, you kind of realize that items like Costar and LoopNet and even Build Out as far as a marketing tool are kind of limited and hard to access. And if you do, it's a really expensive resource. So Robert and I, we've had a team for the last 5 years. Robert was actually the team owner for the last 5 years, and I stepped into partnership with him last year. But we're looking at it, we've had team pricing for that entire 5 years. Then we started thinking about it, well, EXP is great in the sense that they allow us to leverage technology to work all across the country. What if we take our team benefits, such as group pricing, and offer them to the general public of EXP so that we can start to form a network of agents so that we can start leveraging our experiences to get, number one, better listings, through national production tracking. If we can show strength in numbers that EXP commercial agents are doing, several hundred million to $1 billion nationwide in commercial sales, we can use that experience to leverage into better listings and better opportunities going forward. Start creating a footprint. Number two, that takes off the liability of EXP trying to figure out a creative solution of obtaining Costar. If you aren't familiar with Costar and how it works, is they make one person responsible for all the fees every single month. So with that being said, the 7S network, what we do is we ask that you pay all 12 months up front in consideration, because whether you stay as a member or not, we are on the hook for the entire 12 months. The reason the 7S network is created, or the setup, is we are a co-op style platform. So, you pay a monthly fee and you are able to buy down the cost of resources. The easiest example is Costar, again, because it's the most expensive. If you go and get a national account on your own, it's $1,500 a month for a single user. With our group pricing, we can take that same national product, and we can get that for $337 a month, which is roughly $4,000 for the year. So in 2.5 months, it's already paid for itself, and you've bought down the savings on that. Same thing with LoopNet. It's not as an expensive a tool, but you still get our bulk discounted pricing on that item. On top of that, the 7S network additional benefits is we are also going to have 2 group coaching calls a month. And where they're a little bit different is we take live action deals that we're working on and we break them down. So essentially we're taking our horror stories of transactions where nothing went right, yet we still were able to get it closed. And we share our experiences, and we're actually hoping to pool experiences from agents across the country, because we feel, the bigger the success or the failure is an opportunity for everyone to learn. So it's not going to be the same, A to Z glossary style training every single month. Each one will be unique in its own sense, to where we can really have a true mastermind session of here's our experiences, let's talk about how we could have better approached this, or things that we had to get creative on. Because one thing about commercial real estate, the more you get into it, you'll learn that it's pretty loosely structured in the sense that you can get really creative to come to win-win situations. It's not as black and white as residential real estate. As far as the 7S network, our background, Robert Creamer and I come from KW Commercial. He's been in the business for 13 years. I've been in for 5. I've been lucky enough to have him as a mentor for the last 5 years. And as I mentioned earlier, I became a partner this last year, and we decided to rebrand and launch a new program. Okay, great. So yeah, as I mentioned, Robert was in the business for 13 years. He's nationally known as one of the top commercial agents in the country. I started 5 years ago underneath him. He's been my mentor for the last 5 years, and this year I worked myself into a partnership role. So we decided to rebrand. We were previously the CMO commercial group. We were the largest Keller Williams commercial team in terms of volume. We decided to make the move to EXP last January, bringing over a team of about 5 agents, and we did $90 million the year that we left. So we're just hoping to take our experiences and be able to help agents across the country, whether you're a brand new agent looking for a ramp up or you're a seasoned agent looking for resources, training, extensive training, things of that nature. So what we're also doing, the cost of the 7S network is $500 a month, and it's a 1-year contract. Obviously, if you were to leave EXP, we can't hold you to that. We ask for that 1 year to commitment just because our resources like Costar LoopNet build out, that we're on an annual contract with them, so we're just trying to keep it kosher with that. We've also been using the 7S network to attract new agents, or I'm sorry, commercial agents to EXP. Since the beginning of the year, we've probably been on 15 different phone calls with commercial agents all across the country that have been looking to make the switch for the last 2 years, but the biggest hang-up are commercial resources. So what Robert and I have been doing have been jumping on conference calls with these agents and just telling them about what we've created, and we're already starting to get recruits for these agents, bringing them to us just because they're ready to make the move right now. So if you know commercial agents that you've been trying to recruit and they've been giving you the kind of the pushback that we just can't move because of the resources, well, here's a resource you can pitch to them, and agents are making the jump. Because a lot of these top commercial agents across country, they're at that traditional companies where their splits are 50-50, and they really like the XP model where they can save a ton of fees, so it makes sense for them financially, and we're having pretty good success with that. Really, that's all I've got for the moment. I'm sorry Robert couldn't be here. I'm sure he had a lot more planned for you, but I did want to open the floor for questions to see, kind of what questions you guys may have for us.
I have a question. This is Mike. You mentioned CoStar and other resources. Is CoStar for an international subscription, or is it just the state that we're in? And can you talk to any of the other resources?
It is a national account.
And are there any other main resources that we would utilize?
So LoopNet is owned by Costar, and so most people, if you have Costar, you also have LoopNet as well. And then we have Build Out, which is a marketing platform. You can go in and create online brochures with retailer maps, demographics. I mean, it's a really complex tool. It will also syndicate and push it out to several different listing sites for you if you have the login credentials for that, places like 42 Floors, OfficeSpace.com, things like that. On top of that, we also have CTE. It's a production tracker. If you were to join our network, you don't have to display your personal information, but what we are asking is just for data in the sense of volume. Like I mentioned, we're trying to leverage everyone's experience to create opportunities for larger listings or larger opportunities in our respective markets. So we just ask, even if you go in and mark yourself as anonymous, you can go in and you can put in your volume, your sales, and those kind of things. And so we can start creating data at a national level for EXP commercial. And yes, so that's a great question. Someone asked if they need to join the 7S to take advantage of Costar and LoopNet and other benefits. Essentially, yes. We know that the value is there. If you were to utilize all three of the big resources that we're pushing, not to mention our personal coaching and those items, the savings alone are close to $17,000 even after our fees of $500 a month. So, Costar alone, like I mentioned, is $1,500 a month for a single person national account. We're getting that down to $337 a month. So, I mean, there's significant savings in there that the 500 doesn't make us rich per month. There's a lot of back office functions that go into it where we have to go in and play admin on several different devices, and a lot of time and effort on our end. So again, this is a resource for agents. It's not mandatory in any sense. It's just a way to buy down your overall cost on cost of doing business.
Hey, sorry I'm late, guys. I was having some major computer issues. So this is Robert Kramer. I'm in and out. Thanks, James.
So can you talk a little bit? Okay.
No, go ahead.
Okay, can you talk a little bit about the coaching? I'm a new agent, and I missed the first 5 minutes, but also computer problems, so I'm not sure if I missed any of the benefits for new agents or what kind of the overall group entails.
Yeah, well, James, do you want me to go ahead and talk a little bit? Okay. Yeah, so if you look at that flyer on the screen I'm sharing up there, we have a 30, 60, 100 jumpstart guide, the best practices library, the whole suite. Let me go over here real quick. This is the Microsoft Office suite, all the service. So yeah, so this is what comes in our version of, let's call it like Dropbox. It's just a place called SharePoint, where we're going to share all the documents, all the training material, all the live videos, all the properties we're working on, which we've gone over in class, our docs, just like getting started. This right here is our 30, 60, 100 Jumpstart program. I'm not going to go through it, obviously, but it's, there's a lot of steps that we want everyone to take. Like this one in particular is really important. I don't know if y'all ever seen this before, but these are just general business topics. We're going over them specific to real estate. We're going to help launch a career. So we do have this 30, 60, 100 Jumpstart. We have a best practices library, which is going to go over most documents you'll ever need. Most of the time, you're going to, if the attorney's not drafting a contract, we have some lease drafted contracts and stuff as well. But a lot of the time, if it's just a really simple transaction, you will use the promulgated forms. But we do have contract review, contract assistance for the network. So we're basically acting like contract review, risk management, trainer, coach. Our job is to help you get into production. And so this $500 cost is minimal, right? We don't want this to be a burden. This should only encourage growth. Like for a while, I was paying my coach $1,000 a month, and they were like, "Well, why are you paying your coach $1,000 a month?" I said, "Well, I'm paying him $12,000 a year because he can increase my income by $150,000. I mean, if I can pay someone $100,000 a year and bring back, $1.5 million all day long." So we do have all the necessary tools you need. Let me go back here. Let me just show you some of the best practices library. I mean, these are the ones we use the most. These are all the docs that we use the most, but as far as how many docs we have a ton of attorney-written documents, financial spreadsheet, how to analyze documents, leases, you name it, written by attorneys to help with the back end. There's a lot of stuff people don't know where to go, how to do it, and that's what we're here to do. So the network is really We're trying to make the experienced agents better and the new agents to get launched properly. Now, at some point in the future, once we know the lay of the land as far as EXP commercial, there could be a slight transition where we have two programs. We have one for newer agents that's ready to launch and get their career kicked off in the right direction. One for like a refresher, like, hey, let's just come in and let's just get recoached up for a little bit. And then maybe a B plan where just people just need CoStar and LoopNet later. Right now, that's not something we can afford to do, because if you know anything about the LoopNet side specifically, we have to have an admin person go in and assign premium listings to every individual person to make this work. It's kind of not fun. It is what it is, and so we're navigating around it. And I know y'all have seen, hopefully everyone's seen these already on what the services do provide. I mean, our goal here is to create the largest network in the industry. If we do this right, guys, we're going to blow KW Commercial out of the water. They did 7.5 billion in volume last year. There's no reason we can't have over 2,000 people at EXP Commercial and do 10, 20, 30 million or billion in volume. And that's what we're going for, because we don't know what EXP Commercial will like. One thing we know for certain, we will not be able to pay or take on the CoStar LoopNet challenge. No residential company like this who's taking can afford to do that. If you want that, that's got to be at a 50-50, 60-40 split type company where their overhead is massive and you have to be doing 150 to 200,000 in income just for them to keep you. So that's why we set this up. We're bridging the gap from what EXP cannot do and what we need. So this is a resource. We're going to be, molding it. It's fluid right now. We're starting. So we are all open, all ears for suggestions to make this better, bigger, faster, and more user-friendly. So keep ever changing to make it better for as many people as possible. And we don't know what this is going to look like in 12 months. It could be better. It could be the same. We don't know. Our job is to provide this resource and really make EXP Commercial what it needs to be. Because I know a lot of y'all have heard me say I was at KW Commercial for a long time. So I was there before they had a division, when we launched the division, how it started, how the middle was, and how it finished when I left 10 years in. So I've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, what I liked, what I didn't like, and what was working. At KW Commercial, as big of a company as they were, they could not get an agreement with CoStar. It did not happen. So every individual office was left to scramble and try and find a win for their individual agents. And you still had to pay $150 a month to KW Commercial. And quite frankly, we didn't use anything they offered. They had a few bits and pieces that they thought were great for agents, but it was just no value was there. They didn't have very good training, didn't have very good coaching. We didn't use their CRM. They didn't provide CoStar, didn't provide LoopNet. So we're trying to find, okay, what can we provide to make this a win for as many as possible? And that's what we're doing. So we are excited about this. And after this, I'd say after the first quarter, we'll really have a good idea of what people think and what needs to happen to make this a win for even more people. Because a lot of people are out there recruiting commercial agents to the company, and unfortunately, there's nothing to fall back on, right? The agents they're trying to attract say, what is EXP Commercial? Well, there is no EXP Commercial right now. So we are bridging that gap. We have the resources necessary to support a commercial division until something is here. And even when we're going to need something similar to the 7S network. So let's keep that in mind. We're not trying to make this difficult, be a pain in the butt. We're really trying to provide a valuable resource that is needed. So with that, what questions do we have that we can assist answering?
Do you guys specialize in any one area of commercial, like office, industrial, multifamily, retail?
We have people who specialize. I got my degree in real estate, and by default, I kind of learned everything. And I joined a company in Dallas called Evie Halliday and tried to launch their commercial division. And since I was the only one there, I got all the referrals. Same when I joined KW Commercial or KW. in Plano, Texas, I got all the referrals. So by default, I became a generalist because I had so many leads that I helped everybody. So, but we do have a team like James here does a ton of leases to acquisition and disposition. I focus mainly on investment sales. We have another person, Eugene Batson, who focuses on leases as well right now. So as the team grows, we do function, but we have all the training necessary to accommodate like a few transactions in every single genre of commercial real estate. So, and if we don't have it, you know the right people who do, because we've been in this business a long time. As far as site to do business, we do not have site to do business right now. For those of you who don't, business is another data tool. You can, for example, let's go to Chicago. You go to Chicago, you pinpoint the center of Chicago, you do a radius search and say, we want to find dentists within a half-a-mile radius of this area, and it'll pull up all the dentists in that area. So it's more of a you being proactive in finding tenants that could work and will fit in with what you need it to do. Now, it is something we're looking at, but we have to figure out if CCIM will allow us to have it as the 7S network, and if we can share that with everybody. Because a lot of times in these platforms, we can't share it. Everybody has to have some kind of a user agreement, or we have to have a map. So we're working on that. That's one of the tools we like. One of the nice things that Build Out, which is our marketing graphic arm, they do have some of the capabilities of site to do business, but outside of site to do business, CoStar does a do in the meantime. But site to do business is a nice tool. I agree.
Things that will.
Sorry, I was going to ask Beth, answer Beth's question. She said you have to join 7S Network, take advantage of CoStar. So yes, you do, especially with CoStar. So we don't really, honestly, we don't care about half the name, but CoStar is going to require somewhere you say in conjunction and partnering, affiliated with something, and have the 7S name on it somewhere, because CoStar needs to think that we're one massive group. That's how we get the discount. If we don't do that, we don't get the discount.
Yes.
You have access to all of our logos and everything. That's all in our network docs of all the EXP docs, all the 7S documents. We pretty much have everything you could ever need to launch your career within the 7S network platform.
And Robert, can you show them CTE real quick? But I'm glad for the question about SCDB, because one of the things that we're hoping for this too is if you find a great resource that you think is valuable for everyone nationwide, please suggest it. I mean, the purpose of this group really is to collaborate and make this the commercial division that we would like to see through EXP. So if you're a member, think of yourself as an owner with a voice, because we want to hear it. And we want to rely on everyone's experience and knowledge to kind of, create something that the agents created and not someone at the top that doesn't have experience in our field.
Well, CTE is whether or not you decide to utilize the 7S network or anything to do with commercial, if you're a realtor, you should look into CTE. It's an inexpensive tool that is phenomenal at tracking your lead generation activity, your contracts, your close, how much you're going to owe in taxes, your daily lead gen, your financial statement, your summary, a whiteboard, what's trending. Easy to use tool. This is the home page here. But you can add your business plan, your last 30 days lead generation activity, how many actual listings versus your goal, what's your GCI versus. So it tracks everything you can think of. A lot of it does say houses because the guy is with KW and he's pitching it to the masses. So just replace house with real estate or commercial. It doesn't really matter. But it is a phenomenal tool. And we have this for everyone. And what's great is you can actually log in from your phone. Because one thing when you get into the network, we're going to have accountability calls. We're going to say, we have a questionnaire, like, this is your goals. Okay, this is what you said your goals were. How are we going to help you get to your goals? Okay, well, you told us you would be willing to do 25 outreach calls per week. Well, this is how you track it. You go into your phone, you look it in. I called 27 people, I made 3 appointments, blah, blah, blah. It spits it out on this platform, and then you get to track everything.
Will you go to...
Go ahead.
Sorry, will you go to My Business real quick?
Oh, down here?
Sorry, down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Sorry, Robert, you can finish up. Yeah, so essentially all I was going to say is, even on here, all we're asking for is data. You can keep everything confidential if you will, but we just want to see total production for all of our agents, and so we can start compiling data for everybody.
Yeah, the more data we have, the bigger our company looks. We get to pitch it to new agents, everybody else. It's a good. Let me see, Chris, you said, oh, that's because it's really difficult to create a name which is not taken by the state or a website. And we were racking our brains, and we want to help create millionaires. And the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And so our commercial group is called 7 Streams Commercial Group, and the network is called 7S Network. And that's how it's hard. KV Core, KV Core, we don't use that for any commercial activity. KV Core is primarily linked to your MLS. There's, I'd say, less than 2% of all commercial realtors actually have access or use the MLS. We just don't do it. I have the MLS just in case I need to use it, and I wanted to see what KV Core could do, which from a residential standpoint, it's nice. I haven't touched it. I have about 15 leads that I've rolled through, and I've just sent them off to residential agents, and I haven't touched it. So, but it will not do anything with commercial. Commercial, you have to be proactive, use LoopNet, use Costar, etc., but not KV Core. Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, honestly, guys, we get I don't know about y'all, but I get 3 to 10 calls a week from residential agents trying to attract commercial agents. And I'm talking to them about what EXP has and doesn't have to offer as far as the commercial side. I mean, just like KW had at the beginning, this is a fantastic opportunity to attract commercial agents because our platform will allow the residential side to grow larger than KW. I truly believe we will have over 200,000 agents in leapfrog KW because this is just a better mousetrap, right? There's nothing crazy and unique about real estate in general. KW had a fantastic model, and our company took that model and made it better. So I truly believe we are at a unique opportunity to go out there and really hammer this home and create a huge network in the commercial world. So we're really excited, and we cannot wait. I mean, we would love to have 150 people in the 7S network, because if we get to that point, I mean, we are really humming along, and EXP Commercial will almost have to engulf us to make this thing work. Because at that point, we'll have attorney on standby, we'll have contract close. The more members we have, the more tools we add, because the more capabilities we will have. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, we're ever evolving.
So nothing changes. So even though you're a part of the 7S network, you're still your individual person or individual team. We're not absorbing you into our team. All we're doing is recognizing you as a member of our co-op style platform so that you can get discounts on our resources. But you aren't bound to us in any sort of team capacity. I hope that answered your question.
And even if EXP, because they said we could do it this way, but if they do come back and say you actually have to be a part of the team, nothing would change even then, because we told them it would be a loose team structure, which means nothing on your tree, nothing on your sky slope, nothing on anything you do changes, except for we have to submit a list to EXP saying they're part of our loose affiliate team, and they're part of the 7S network, and that's really it. So nothing else really.
And like I mentioned, we are sending out agreements. So if you're interested in taking a look at it just to see what our agreement looks like, just because I know we talked about a lot of information, just put your email in the chat box and I'll take record of it, and we'll be sending those out later today, our updated ones. And again, just take a look at it and see, if you have any other additional questions. We are looking for feedback since we just launched this month. We want to see what comes up that everyone's excited about, or what questions people have.
Yeah, it's a service agreement too, so it's not like a weird contract. Basically says this is what we're providing, this is what the cost is, this is how to transact with the cost, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, and just to clarify, because I know some people might be a little weary, we don't make any money on Costar, LoopNet, or Build Out. That is a straight pass-through expense. We don't touch it. So all that money goes into a separate bank account that we don't touch. It's just withdrawn by Costar and Build Out. And we found out with Build Out, once we get above 51 users, the fee goes down to, correct me if I'm wrong, James, I believe it's like $80 a month. It's 75 or 80 a month once we get above 51 people signed up for Build Out. In the meantime, we will be providing a basic marketing template form, which you can access with one of our programs in the Office suite. So you can manipulate, add pictures, add wording, etc. Because the LoopNet, if you look at their flyers, they are terrible. So we are providing what we can. We just know that Build Out's a nice touch because it gives you a personal website, looks professional. And if you're dealing with $1 million property, average with $1 million property.
So as far as joining, you can join at any point. CoStar is great about allowing you to add on. They're not good about allowing you to take away. So, if you need to wait a month, there's no pressure that you have to do it right now. But we do ask when you do join that it is a year-long commitment and that you understand that.
Yeah, we have to do that because CoStar makes us sign a 12-year agreement, and we're locked in. Regardless of what happens to you in business, we are locked in paying that for a year. So that's why we ask for a 12-month contract. But yes, anytime. And since we are launching and we're getting everything ready, and I'm sure there's going to be some bugs that we haven't even seen yet, and we're going to have to make a few alterations. We're going to waive the initiation, and even if you sign in the middle of the month, we'll probably just waive the second half of the month anyways, because we want to get as many people in the system, checking it out, rock and rolling as fast as possible, and then we'll worry about the rest later.
Hey, Robert, we just got a question about transferring over. Since you've been talking to the rep, how about we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we are working with our Texas state rep who says that we can get almost everybody transferred over. And I said, well, what does that mean? He says, I'm going to bust my butt to get everyone transferred over. What CoStar, like any business, will say is if someone's paying national already, they're already paying $1,500 a month. Why would we send them to you to pay $337 a month? We're losing a lot of money. And I said, because we're going to be adding 20, 30, 40, 50 people onto your system over the next 2 months, 3 months, 12 months. So he's advocating for us. He's trying to get this as best as possible. Now, in the event that you are paying a super premium for CoStar and LoopNet and you can't get it switched over, we're going to work something out with you. So don't fear. If you're stuck, we'll figure it out. We'll make this a win for you regardless. So if they won't transfer it, don't worry. Keep it as is until they will allow it to transfer, and we'll work something out where it's a win. We don't want to put anyone spending more money. It's not going to happen.
And can you also talk about LoopNet, how the listings will work as far as billing?
Yes. So LoopNet, we are agreeing to pay this monthly, but we do have to keep track of everyone's listings and charge accordingly. So we're not charging up front for the year. We do have to charge monthly, and it'll be per listing. So with LoopNet, it tiers up. Like for my team, we had a 40 listing premium package, and that was $14.50 a month with LoopNet just for our team. They just raised that to 17 something, which I don't like. But once listings, the price goes down to $28 a listing. We aren't there. And depending on how many agents we have join quickly, we may not get there for 2 months. But we're going to go ahead and offer the pricing as if we already are. We'll pay the difference. So right now, I think it's 45 or 48 a listing as opposed to the 28. But right now, it's $28 per premium listing per month on LoopNet. So let's just say you have 5 listings and you want 5 premium sides. We get asked that you pay that $28 times 5 for that month. We'll just add it to the invoice. So we'll pay all the difference until we get above the 100 listings, and then everyone just pays the, including us. I mean, we're paying it too, our team. We've been paying for the last 12 months for Costar LoopNet, just for my personal team. So we get it. It's not expensive.
So are we still able to enter our own listings into LoopNet?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you have your own, you have your own login, your own access. Everything's the same.
Like our login won't change or anything, or it may, or...
No, unless you want it to. No, it'll stay the same. What we do is, so there's an admin, so we have to do it. I have to do it myself. James has to do it, or when we hire the admin, their job is to go and follow up with you and say, how many listings do you have? Do you have any that we aren't showing as premium? And you have to assign. So what they do is they'll get a hold of my account and they'll have like it's available. And so based on who has premium listings, like if you had 10, we would assign 10 premium listings to your account. And that means all of yours are at premium. Now, the second you have an 11th, that 11th is not a premium. You have to call us and say, hey, Robert, I got an 11th. Add it on there. So that's why it's kind of a pain in the butt. The admin on the back end has to go assign specific numbers of premium listings to individual brokers. That's the only way it works. And it's a pain in the butt. But it is what it is. Until somebody can take, this is our world. Any other questions, guys?
Are you guys going to do anything to grow the commercial agents that are already in AXP? Like, have you thought about doing an intro to commercial classes in it that don't really know how to get started, or
Well, of course.
do you think more like the mastermind they already have at TPM, like, is what that covers?
No, so yes, we have taught classes in the past. Actually, we have taught class like the class we teach the most, honestly, is tenant rep, because tenant rep is the way to make money in commercial real estate. It's just the way it is. So we teach that class quite a bit. We will have this is an intro to commercial real estate period. And most of that stuff will be recorded and it'll be inputted into the 7S network. We will still do events in the cloud for EXP. We're just going to lean more heavily on the people who are in the network because they're paying to be there. But yes, we will have classes like that and they will be recorded. And we're doing our best right now to incorporate a commercial convention. I don't know how we're going to get it done. We're working on the best strategies. That is going to happen because I truly believe having a commercial convention separate from the residential is needed because it's too hard to attach it. Most people can't be gone for 4 or 5. I'll say we be a big part of one of them, absolutely. And I think we can, but I still would like to have a separate event because it's more impactful. If we have a separate event, we can have separate trainers specific to commercial, a separate environment, etc. So again, we're trying to add as much value as we can and always open suggestions on anything that's going to make our world better. And at some point, yes. So when it's going to get done, in the meantime, we will be having classes like twice a month during the group coaching calls. We're going to be walking through live transactions. And if we don't have a live transaction that's worth going through, we are going to be going over specific key points in commercial real estate. That is one thing we will be doing in the cloud for the network. One other thing we're doing, we will have a 8 to 10 module class which goes over every aspect of commercial real estate, which I'm only about a 10th, I'd say 20% of the way done. And for everything else, for everybody a part of the 7S network, we'll get it for free. And everybody else will have to pay for it because I'm building that for realtors, period, across the country. But of course, everyone within the network will get it for free and access. Someone said like CCIM. CCIM is like the PhD of real estate. You don't need it. It is fantastic information, but it's super in depth. Most people just need some interim level base knowledge to get started. That's what we're doing. On intro to about middle of the pack knowledge, and we will have some classes diving deep. But CCIM, if you really want to dive deep, and if you do want to take CCIM, I would suggest waiting until the market slows down. When the market's hot, run when it's hot. When it slows down, then take the time to go get your CCIM if you choose to do that. CCIM is going to cost you $6,000 to $10,000, about 6 weeks of education time, and a portfolio of closed transactions. I think it's above 20 million. It's great though. Now, I've taken a lot of classes, but my coach told me don't worry about it until the market slows down. Then if you still want to do it, go get it. It's not necessary, but it is great information. We're trying to bridge the gap where there's nothing and where there's the PhD. We're trying to get to the Bachelor of Science degree in our world.
So as far as the coaching, it is set. It's the first Monday of every month and the third Thursday of every month. And so when you join, we'll send you a calendar invite, and so you won't be able to lose track of it. You'll have your own personalized invitation.
Yeah, anyone who wants to, either they want to be a part of the network or not, there will be. I know James has a couple spots. I have a few spots left for one-on-one coaching, but that's different. So this is the network with the tools. If we're looking like, I know if you were at KW, I know a lot of people were, they had mass coaching, and they had 1 or 2 commercial coaches, and I took advantage of one of them, who was fantastic. But I outgrew our relationship. We don't have, so that is something. I have a few spots to do. That'd be like, if you're familiar, it's like a maps coach. So we would have a 30-minute phone call once a week, and that's how that would go. I thought 7S Network was different. If anyone needs that, whether it's us or anyone else, go find a mentor or coach. That will help boost your career more than almost anything. And the network should be a resource / coach in itself once we get this thing rock and roll. So we're excited. And I hope you guys realize how much of a big opportunity we have at EXP right now. This is phenomenal. I mean, reach out in the cloud. Be talking to residential agents all the time. I mean, this is a movement. This is a fantastic opportunity for anyone in real estate. Everybody in real estate needs to see this model. Commercial, residential, who cares? Go spread the word.
Well, and to piggyback what Robert's talking about, this year alone, I personally got to pay out $60,000 in referral fees that I got to quite a bit from EXP agents, either from different cities or didn't know me, but we were able to connect through Workplace. Then to get into more specific, heading into next year, I already have $3 million pending that's all referral based from EXP agents. And one of the listings is in Nebraska, where I'm kind of consulting on the back end. So the opportunity is tremendous to partner up with residential agents from all across the country. Did anyone else have any other questions or feedback or maybe suggestions on tools that they would like to see implemented? Because we're all ears.
Hey guys, if there's no more questions, I mean, we'll hang out in here if y'all think of any. Open dialogue. Honestly, ask away. Ask questions. If not, you can always reach James or myself in the Workplace. I believe our cell phone numbers are attached to our profile as well. Feel free to reach out anytime if you have questions. We can help you out at all. Yeah, and we will be creating a video which will also help explain the whole process as well. We're talking who has a production company to make it a good video. I don't know about you guys, but we're not overly tech savvy with the video department. It's going to look a lot better if we don't do it. So that's what we're working on. If you all have questions, let me know. What's up?
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and if you by chance missed it, if you want to tag your email address, happy to send over an updated agreement so you just can kind of look over it. Even if you don't plan on joining right now, maybe you can just become familiar with what our program is, and maybe you can use it to track going forward. So be sure to leave your email address if you do want that sent over.
And if you know anybody that we should be speaking with, send them over. Let us know how we can help them. We have probably a couple hundred people dabbling, at least, in commercial real estate. Just make sure they're all with the tools they need.
Well, thanks, guys, for coming in. We appreciate it, and we're really excited for 2019 and all of your support, and look forward to adding some of you to our network. I know a couple of you in here are planning on joining. So, thanks for coming out and listening, and, go have a kick-ass day.